The language self, I think it's a very interesting concept. So I studied modern languages. I've studied languages all my life. My mom tried to teach me German from a very young age because she's bilingual. I refused to learn anything related to German until I was forced to take it in middle school as my second language. And one of the most um, interesting things that I noticed in myself without really being thought about it was how my perspective of the world changed based on the language I was speaking. So, for example, me, I am a native Italian speaker. English is the second language I'm fluent in. And I studied German extensively. I studied Russian extensively. And I took Korean as my elective in university. I can understand passively Spanish, Portuguese, and French, although I cannot really speak them. But the moment I am sitting in a room and I'm listening to a different language, I am subconsciously putting in the cultural perspective of the language. Having learned modern languages or having studied modern languages in university, of course, we had to study the cultural background of those same languages. And in university, yeah, in high school, we studied um, literature connected to like European literature, I would call it. So I was familiar with that um, specific sphere of culture. So I could really see how um, that came into play, or the understanding of that cultural aspect came into play when interacting with people that were using those languages that I mentioned earlier in their discussions. And um, so yeah, that also enriched my personal experience of language and language learning and culture, which then led me to what I'm studying at the moment, which is intercultural encounters and my strong interest in social and cultural anthropology. Um, Although, like, in spite of all of this, um, I can, like, I'm not confident in the way I communicate in all of the languages that I know or that I can speak. I'm not necessarily fluent in. And most of the time, even in Italian, I noticed that whenever I start studying or using one of my other languages more, I lose my like my native one in a way. And yeah, that kind of led to a little bit of a struggle in like identifying my language self, because most of the time in specific instances I'm more comfortable using English. For example, when dealing with romantic or issues related to romantic things, I never use Italian because I never had um, the opportunity to deal with those things in Italian. So my go to language is English. And the same thing with directions, for example, I am more comfortable using either Russian or English, which is quite funny to me because I should be more comfortable or the most comfortable using Italian. But no. And how I communicate in different situations also is different. Unfortunately, I'm not that fluent in Russian anymore as I used to be, but I feel like I can be more formal, for example, in English than I can be in Italian. So I don't know. I always see my Italian self as a more easygoing one, and then my English self as more of a formal one. I don't know if this makes any sense, but that is how it is.